It's good to see you again in VNews. I'm Vi Hằng from Hanoi with the major stories. Cyber sector celebrates 70 years of establishment. Vietnam-UK Education Forum takes place in London. Vietnam's rice exports continue to decline in both volume and value. The Government Cyber Committee organized a ceremony in Hanoi on September 12 to celebrate the sector's 70 years founding anniversary. State President Trương Tấn Sang, Minister of Defense General Phùng Quang Thanh, and many other officials attended the event.
On this day 70 years ago, the country's first cyber organization was established to protect secretly information and instructions of the party, state, and armed forces. Addressing the event, President Trương Tấn Sang praised the efforts of officers, soldiers, and staff members over the past 7 decades. He noted that the cyber sector will face big challenges and new tasks in protecting secretly the information and instruction of the party and state amidst complicated developments of the region and world organizations. The President expressed his belief that the cyber sector will continue to uphold its tradition and accomplish all assigned tasks to maintain its role as a reliable force of the party and state in national security protection. On this occasion, President Sang presented a Ho Chi Minh Order, second time to the cyber sector.
With the theme Connecting Opportunities for Sustainable Education Partnership, the Vietnam-UK Education Forum served as a bridge for training establishments of the two countries to share experience and foster cooperative relations. Our correspondent reports from London. Present at the forum were officials from relevant agencies and representatives of almost 100 universities and leading education establishments of Vietnam and the UK. In his opening remark, Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Văn Ninh affirmed that education is always a priority policy of the government, and training highly skilled personnel is seen as a strategic breakthrough in the country's sustainable development and integration process. He expressed his belief that the forum will contribute to the enhancement of education cooperation between the two nations, helping to develop high-quality human resources for Vietnam. Vietnam requested the UK to continue help with the implementation of the Vietnam-UK University project in central Da Nang City, establish an English examination center, and create favorable conditions for Vietnamese students to study in the UK. The forum witnessed the signing of a joint statement on cooperation among the Vietnamese Ministry of Education and Training, British Council, and Universities UK. Some 45 Vietnamese businesses investing in Laos attended a workshop in the capital city of Vientiane on September 11th to get updates on freshly signed trade agreements between Vietnam and Laos. More in the following. At the workshop, the Vietnam's Ministry of Industry and Trade gave the businesses an overview of the Vietnam-Laos Free Trade Agreement and Border Trade Agreement signed in March and June, respectively. The businesses were briefed on the benefits that the two agreements will bring once they become effective.
The border trade agreement will open a new chapter for trade relations between the two countries, fueling two-way trade and fostering regional integration within ASEAN and the Greater Mekong sub-region.
By the end of June, Vietnam was the third largest foreign investor in Laos, with 259 projects worth $3.9 billion. Laos also attracted the largest amount of Vietnamese investment in the first half of this year compared to other overseas destinations of Vietnamese investors. Bilateral trades between the two nations totaled $1.3 billion last year, up 14.2% from 2013. The figure stood at $686 million in the first half of 2015. Now, Vietnam exported over 3.8 million tons of rice, raking in $1.6 billion between January and August. The figures show considerable drops in both volume and value from the same period last year. According to the Vietnam Food Association, the country shipped more than 4.2 million tons of rice and grossed over $1.8 billion in the first 8 months of 2014. Vietnam was the only one among the 5 biggest rice exporters in the world to record a decrease in the period. On September 9th, the Philippines National Food Authority invited Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia to join a tender to supply 750,000 tons of rice, in addition to the planned import of 1.8 million tons of rice this year due to El Nino impacts. This can be a good opportunity for Vietnam to boost rice exports in the remaining months of this year. The prices of rice in the Mekong Delta, Vietnam's largest granary, have dropped slightly from last month. By September 11th, the Mekong Delta provinces and cities have harvested summer-autumn rice on nearly 1.3 million hectares of land, with a total output of 7.34 tons of brown rice. The localities have also planted summer-winter rice on 640,000 hectares out of the planned 886,000 hectares. Vietnam exported 210,000 tons of cashew nuts worth $1.6 billion in the first 8 months of 2015, year-on-year increases of 9% and 23% respectively. However, the export of cashew nuts is forecast to face difficulties in the year-end months due to a lack of materials.
According to the Vietnam Cashew Association, this year's output rose by 16% to 400,000 tons as compared to 2014. However, the output meets only 35% of raw materials for the domestic processing industry. Meanwhile, higher prices of imported materials due to the fluctuation of exchange rates and unchanged prices of cashew nuts have put significant pressure on cashew processing businesses. Half of the small-scale factories in southern Bình Phước and Đồng Nai provinces are short of raw materials. The rate of closing facilities is very high due to the high material prices. Cashew nuts imported from Africa cost only $1,000 early this year, but have increased to $1,300 to $1,400 per ton. Despite difficulties facing cashew exporters during the last 4 months of the year, the association expects to ship abroad a total of 320,000 tons of cashew nuts this year, raking in $2.5 billion. In 2014, Vietnam shipped cashew nuts to 50 countries and territories around the globe, with the U.S. market accounting for 30% of Vietnamese cashew nut exports, followed by the EU with 25% and China with 20%. Last year, cashew nuts continued to be one of the country's key farm produce exports after rice, rubber and coffee.
The southern province of Bình Dương has so far attracted $22 billion in foreign direct investments, with 2,511 valid projects. The information has been released by the Provincial Department of Planning and Investment. Of the figure, over $1.4 billion has been poured into the locality since the beginning of this year, focusing on industrial production, the support industry, retail and real estate. In the first 8 months of the year, 124 projects received investment licenses, with a total registered capital of $788 million, and 85 others increased a combined capital by more than $647 million. The synchronous investment infrastructure and good infrastructure developments of 28 centralized industrial parks in Bình Dương are seen as major reasons behind the strong FDI influx. Apart from FDI enterprises, domestic firms have also witnessed robust development. The province is now home to more than 19,500 domestically invested businesses, valued at 144 trillion dong, or $6.3 billion. By the end of this year, the industrial production is expected to make up 60% of the province's economic structure, raising its average GDP per capita to 95.6 million dong, equivalent to $4,206. With its huge potentials, along with improved competitiveness and brand names, Bình Dương has been one of the leading localities in the country's reform process. Moving on to other news, an international workshop on tourism connectivity in the Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia Development Triangle was held in Phan Thiết City of Central Binh Thuận Province on September 12. Let's take a look. The event saw the attendance of representatives from 19 provinces and cities of Vietnam, as well as officials and entrepreneurs from Cambodia and Laos. Participants assessed potentials and the current development of tourism products and forms, then proposed policies and solutions to foster the joint development of tourism products and forms among Vietnamese, Cambodian and Lao localities. The workshop formed part of the exhibition designed to promote tourism among the three nations. With the theme Three Countries, One Destination, the exhibition features 16 pavilions of Vietnamese localities as well as provinces of southern Laos and northeastern Cambodia, advertising their tourism potentials, related products and available projects with a view to attract investment. They also introduce stunning landscapes and renowned historical and cultural sites in the three countries, along with tours to the areas. The exhibition is also a platform for the three countries' localities to present their advantages and accomplishments, so as to attract investment and cooperation in many other fields. Nearly 100 businesses, travel agencies and hotels joined a promotional program in the central city of Da Nang from this month through next March. The move is aimed at luring more foreign visitors to the city. The Municipal Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism said the program focuses on tourists from China, Taiwan, Hong Kong and Macau, as well as Singapore, Malaysia and the Republic of Korea and Japan. The US and Australia are also being targeted by the program. Five-star hotel Furama, in cooperation with low-cost carrier Vietjet, offered a promotional price of $466 for a stay of 3 days and 2 nights at the resort, with a free return ticket for two from Da Nang to Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City. The city's Gem Sculpture Museum, one of the most popular destinations, has offered a 50% discount on the ticket price for 6 months, from September to March, while Ngũ Hành Sơn will also offer a 50% discount on tickets every Monday and Tuesday during the 6-month promotion. Water sports and recreational service centers at My Khê Beach have also promised a discount of 10 to 50% in response to the city's promotional program. The city plans to host a rush show in Japan later this month, as well as a number of press and travel agency trips from Japan, Russia, Australia and the Republic of Korea. The central coastal city, which lies within easy reach of the country's best heritage icons, hosted 2.2 million tourists, of which 600,000 were foreigners, over the first half of this year, showing 24% growth compared with last year. Sơn Đồng Cave in the central province of Quảng Bình recently overtook numerous world-renowned destinations to top the list of the 25 great places to see in the 21st century by the U.S. magazine The Smithsonian.
The magazine and Smithsonian described Sơn Đồng Cave in Vietnam's Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng National Park as big enough to accommodate the Washington Monument and fit a pair of Boeing 747 side by side. The cave is more than 5 miles long, about 5 times longer than its nearest competitor for the world's longest, Deer Cave in Sarawak, Malaysia, it wrote. A shimmering blue river runs through it. Most spectacularly, a jungle flourishes under shafts of sunlight in stretches where the ceiling fell into long ago. Sơn Đồng Cave, which scientists believe was formed 2 to 5 million years ago, was first discovered by a local resident in 1991. In 2009, a group of British scientists from the British Cave Research Association prepared the cave for public access in a limited capacity after extensively surveying the area. Sơn Đồng is at least 6.5 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, and 150 meters high. Its largest chamber is a whopping 250 meters tall. Recently, Sơn Đồng Cave has been closed to give it some time to restore itself without any human intervention. The cave is expected to be reopened to the public next February, after the annual scheduled recovery period.
And that's the last bit about Daily Bulletin. Thank you for tuning in and goodbye for now.